How are you all doing today?
Good, thank you.
Good.
Okay.
Can you guys see my, can you see if I can take off my
Not yet.
camera? I think because I am using two. All right, so hold on just 1 second, and then I think I'm ready to go. Let's see if I can do that. All right, I am. There. All right, perfect. All right, how's everybody doing today?
Fine.
Yes, good. Glad to
How
hear
are
it.
you?
I'm doing fabulous. Thank you very much for asking. So, yesterday, everyone, we started and we talked about client booking and the process and all that it takes to get your bookings done. Today, we're going to go over automation and kind of do a show and tell about opportunities to automate and what you can and cannot or consider when it comes to automating your workflow for this part. So I just want to see if I can. There we go. For this part. So I'm going to actually do a lot of like showing what you can do in the system relative to automating those 4 stages, those 5 stages that we talked about within client booking. So as a reminder, what we went over yesterday was, you know, the first stage, which is within client booking. What are the expectations? What are the expectations that you need to set with your clients to make sure that they start off good, that you protect your business, you protect them, and everybody is on the same page? We talked about communication, we talked about reminders, we talked about your task and all that that is. So now today, what I really want to do is kind of show you all of that in motion. Like, how do you get it from the time somebody says yes and you collect those funds, or you at least get a yes and you're about to collect funds until we get them back in town and everything in between? Are you guys game for that? Any big aha moments from yesterday that you got, anybody wants to share in terms of what we went over and what you feel like you can or want to do or want to learn about? Is anybody walking in today thinking, I really want to learn about X? If so, come off mute, let me know, or type it in the comments. Or what was your biggest takeaway from what we went over yesterday? You guys know how I am. I'm not gonna...
Sunday, if you're showing a screen, we can't see it.
I'm not showing a screen yet.
Okay.
Yet, not yet. just talking through, and I'm actually broadcasting on 3 other channels, so my camera is broadcasting on those channels. I cannot figure how to get it to do on this. I figured it out last time, but not so much this time. All right, so any big aha moments from yesterday, or any thing that you guys would like to share?
Well, for me, good evening, Evelyn. When you showed how to customize the survey, that was important because, like I said, I do destination weddings. So being able to create my own questions, you know, it's available to everyone to use those fields, it looks like.
Say that again.
So when I edit the survey, not the survey, the funnel, when I start the funnel, I set up my questions.
Yeah.
Customize my questions, and I'll put my initial, do a duplicate and then put my initial. Other people can see what I've added.
No.
To utilize.
When you say other people, what other people are you referring to?
Meaning other people that have access to the system.
No, this is contained. Any changes that you make are contained within your part of the system. Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm referring to when you like start the funnel and you have the let me see, maybe I'm using the wrong terminology here. But when you customize the questions, I thought it was available to other people can use the same fields if they want to just drag the same fields.
So when you say other people, what other people are you referring to? Other agents who are using the system?
Other agents that have, yeah.
If you customize the form, it is a customization only for you. The only time it's going to be available is if I customize it and push it out to everyone.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, because everyone may have a different. Not everyone does weddings the way that you do. Not everybody does things the way that everybody does it. So I am the one pushing stuff out to you all based on requirements and kind of what you say. But if you guys customize stuff within your own location, that is yours to do. Now, what's the beauty? The beauty of this forum and the community that we're creating is if you guys voice your opinion enough, I will take said recommendation and create a standard by it and push it out to the entire base of users. But if you customize something for yourself, it will be customizable for you. Did that answer your question, Emily?
Yeah, but one thing, and I may share it with you, Sandra and I are working on creating for the weddings, kind of like a template of the questions. And that's something we'd like to share with you that maybe you can set up and everyone will have access to it.
Yep.
Because for weddings, it's a different workflow and different questions you want to ask.
Yep. And so what I will tell you all is that we do have a priority order of what we're trying to get done from a stabilization perspective, and then we'll have a roadmap for features coming down the pipeline. So absolutely, I'm actually going to be releasing an ability for you guys to submit requests for inclusion, and then that'll be managed up against the larger, because there's a significant amount of features I haven't even talked about, but absolutely you guys will have a path by which to submit workflows and new workflow requests.
Great.
Awesome. All right. So any other ahas or items you guys want to talk about before we go into realizing the workflow and what you can do? And let's just have a really good open conversation about automation opportunities and realization of what it is that you're doing.
Sunday, I have a question. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, yes, ma'am. This is my first time coming on here besides looking at some training about a week or two ago. So I wanted to know, is this the training is this a weekly training every week if you got the online travel suite to learn how to use the system?
So what I'm doing is I do dedicated training about every 2 weeks on the foundation areas of your business. And so we are on the third area of your business, which is client booking. And so I do this sort of dedicated training around that, show you the features. And usually with the training like this, I release a masterclass that shows you how to actually get specific items done on the back end. So if you guys, anybody on the phone is in trial, 2 weeks ago, we did the travel request process. This week, I've already done payments. This week, we're doing booking. And in 2 weeks, we're going to be doing group bookings. Then 2 weeks from that, we'll be doing reviews and reputation and that kind of stuff. So it doesn't matter when you come in, because once you learn the features, it's just going to be a rinse and repeat. But what's really critical for everybody really is the workflows. right? How you run your business in these areas of your business. We're trying to standardize that where we can. And then, obviously each of you all have the ability to customize it based on your own needs within your business.
Oh, okay, so it is important to come to these trainings. Okay, and then one other question I have.
Or watch them in the replay.
I'm sorry.
I said, or watch them in the replay. So if you can't make it,
okay, yes,
everything is recorded and you can watch it.
Okay, and then I wanted to know, because I saw when I logged into the system today, it was saying something about email. So I'm assuming you still would need an email provider, like for example, I have MailChimp.
So Latoya, we actually are going to do a deep dive for those who are actually using the system right after this class. So I think those questions would probably be really good for us to do at the end. Okay. All right. Somebody asked in comments.
I have an aha moment Sunday.
Yes, Pam. What? Tell me. Tell me your aha moment.
I know. I did tell you that was my accountability partner. So I like the fact that when you were telling us that when people can go in and they sign up for the trip and then you can create them into a group. Because I was concerned about how do you create a group? So I was excited to learn about that last night.
Awesome. And so in 2 weeks, when we do the group booking, when we do group trips and pages and all that, I think you guys will even be more excited about what's in store. I will be too once I finish designing it all. So I've started it, but I haven't finished, but I will have it done in 2 weeks because that's just the way it works. Anybody else want to go before we somebody raised their hand? Who has raised their hand? Just come off of mute and let's get her done.
Yeah, this is Ganesha.
Hi, Ganesha.
And I guess I'm a new agent, so I don't have any clients. So when you're talking about going on and doing a free trial, I guess if I don't have any clients, would that even be something I should be doing?
Well, if you want to run a business and you want to get clients, you need a process by which to work the clients and fulfill the requirements. And that's what we're focused on here is I mean, this is really a business decision, right? For all of you all, which is what kind of business do you want to run, and getting clients before you have the process is a decision that individual people need to make for themselves.
Can I respond to her?
Absolutely.
My recommendation, this is a perfect time to set things up the way it should run. It's harder to go from, I'm moving from another system over, and it's much harder. It's great you're ahead of the game with the system. Those of us I've been in the business since 2018. This is a perfect time. Set things up the way you want. It makes your life easier, and to have a system where it's all in one, you're not going to have the pains that I've gone through already, and a lot of us have gone through already.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And use your personal email address as the test.
Yeah, just go in and play around with it. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I will tell you though that Gmail is not your friend with your personal email address. So you do need to have a business email address. We are just not in the same world that we were in 18 months ago, 12 months ago. So, I've got a lot of agents who are in your same situation, Ganesha. Maybe they just started their business. They haven't got it kicked off. And whereas, a year ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, doesn't matter. You could just sort of bootstrap your business and kind of get things going, right? But the technology and just the way that things are, just the spam rules, you can't SMS anymore without being a registered business. There's so many things now that to be in business, you have to legitimize your business by doing certain things. And that has now even hit us at the technology level as well. So SMS, you can't send a business SMS unless, of course, you're doing it by your phone with your phone. You can't do marketing through SMS or send out SMS as a business unless you register. You You can send out email from your personal, right? You can do the trial through your personal, but if you're going to be sending emails to greater than 500 people, and if you're new, you don't have that problem immediately, but you will fairly quickly get to that problem. So what I will tell you all is, if you are a business that is, you don't have a domain, you don't have your own URL, right? You haven't purchased that. This is really what's going to make or break people if they're doing this as a hobby, because there's so much now restrictions on running the business just from a technology perspective, that you gotta put your eggs in. Are you in business or you're not? And if you're not in business, it's just going to be more harder for you to actually execute the tasks that you need to.
Yeah, I was looking at because I had watched some of your other videos, so I had seen you talk about how we need to have not a at Gmail email. But
yep.
I don't know. I may have to set up like a business coaching call with you, because I can't even hone in on what I want to even call the business, and I didn't want to make an email and then I don't know that I want that name.
Yeah. I understand. Yep. So, okay. Well, I want to just say thank you, everybody, for sharing, and then let's dive into kind of what it looks like. So again, if you're new to this workshop and you're new to business, this is like in the middle of the process, right? Like where we're talking about today. And so this is really after you've already talked to a client, you've already got them to buy in, they've already said yes. So this is like, have you guys ever watched that show, She Said Yes to the Dress, right? So we've already courted the person and we've already gone on dates with them and they said yes, I want to go on the trip. That's what we're talking about right now. So if you're new, like to this workshop, welcome. I'm glad that you're here, but just realize that this is not like the beginning of your travel business process. This is like, again, we've said yes to the dress. We're already married. You're married to your client and getting ready to go on the honeymoon. And we're making sure that all the people we want on the honeymoon are going to be there. That's really where we are in the process. Does that make sense to everybody? Hopefully it was a good analogy, because I just thought of it like on the fly right now. All right, so let's dive in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, assuming again, we've already got a proposal, right? We're talking about a fit. So I want to just, again, level set where we are in the process. Somebody has already said, yes, I want to go on the trip. Yes, I approve you going, Sunday and or agent. I approve you going with the supplier and start procuring the funds, and commitment for this trip. I'm getting ready to pay you a deposit and I'm ready to go. That's for an individual custom trip. Or if you already have a group trip and the person has paid their deposit and said, I'm going, here's my $500, I'm ready to go. This is where we're picking up. All right. Okay, so give me a second and I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so let me get my screen available over there and then share it to everybody. All right, can everybody see my screen? Yes?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. All right, so we are in a demo count, and this is where we're going to say, so a trip in this world, right? And I'm going to talk about, because I know a lot of the different systems that you guys are dealing with, and I know a lot of the constraints. So I'm going to relate to terminology that if you're a Travel Joy user, Travelify user, Test user, all these different systems, going to kind of relate this back to what we're doing here in the system. So a trip, you have a client in a trip, right? And so all of our contacts and our client records are going to live under contacts. So all the information about your contacts are underneath contacts. So you can see an individual contact person. I'm going to, because I've been playing a lot with my name. You can see, I'm going to click on this. You can see all the information about the contact by clicking on contact on the left-hand side. On the left in the center of the screen will be all of the data that we're collecting about our contacts. So we have over 200 plus custom fields that we have created that are custom to the travel industry that are in this system. Center of the screen really deals with the history of your interaction with your client. So right here in the middle, this is going to be all the types of interactions that you've had, conversations, emails that you've sent, messages that you've sent, phone conversations, every activity that you've done with the client in terms of messaging or communication are going to be right here in the center. To the right of the screen are going to be events, any events that have occurred with your client and them interacting with your site, with your forms, with your with orders. Any activity that they've done is going to show up here. So for example, if we load like all activities, I mean, I've really been doing a lot of testing. These are all the pages that a person has visited. This is the form or the survey that a person has visited. Up here, you can see task by person, any notes that you do, any appointments that they've had, any documents that you've loaded with the client. They finally, this is what I think it is. Okay, so those are signatures. There's some additional features that are coming, like the documents that get created are eventually going to be loaded here. I was hoping that that was the case. Any orders that have occurred internal to the system are all going to be here. So this is all transactional right here. Client data, all in one place. Now I'm talking across platforms, right? So if you have a message conversation with somebody via phone, that will be phone that's hosted by us. Any messages on any of your social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, any of those messages are going to pull in here. All of that is going to live with your contact record across platforms. Where we're going to be dealing with the trip information is going to be at the opportunity level. So for me, Sunday Gardner, Sunday Butler at Gmail, opportunities, if somebody comes in and they've already signed a proposal, they're going to then drop into this after approved. So I'm just going to kind of show you what that looks like. I'm going to do a quick proposal, sign it, and then kind of show you from here. So proposals, we've already gone over proposals in deep, so I'm not gonna really take a lot of questions on that because we've already gone over. We have a separate training for proposals, but I'm gonna just copy this template and then kick it off to show you kind of where it all starts. So I'm gonna start a proposal template. And we have a training that goes over exactly how this proposal, like how you create this proposal. What's today? It's the 6th. So here, this is how you actually select who the proposal is going to go to. I'm going to do it to that Sunday Butler account as well, and I'm going to send it, save it, and then I'm going to send it to myself. Okay. So now what's happening, and this is sort of because, again, I want you guys to kind of connect the dots from the last training that we did, is right here, what happens is I, as the advisor, I've sent the proposal out for approval. Client's going to get it and they're going to sign it. And I just want to show you, this is now waiting for, this is at 6 p.m. So this is the one that I did. It's now waiting for the client to sign it. So I'm going to go into my Gmail account. And here is the email to me to let me know that the proposal is available. So I'm going to click on the proposal. This is what your client's going to do. And they're going to get the opportunity to review the proposal. And primarily what we're looking for is for them to sign it, accept it, finish it, and then it's going to come back to you as the agent. So here, the 6 p.m. is now approved. This is where we pick up. A proposal is approved and it's now in the system. And so the first place it's going to drop is right here in this pipeline. Let's just make sure. I always love when I say it's going to do it, and then you're like, well, it didn't do it. What happened? Hold on, sorry. Are you guys still there? My internet always drops. Are y'all still there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Literally, I'm like, hello, hello. Can you hear me now? All right, my screen is frozen. Give it a second. I'm going to stop sharing for just a second and give it a second to cycle through because my screen froze up. All right, can you see my screen again?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Yes.
I was talking to someone earlier today and it's like, open, open, open. I'm waiting for the screen to open. Okay, so let's check where this record is. So this is Sunday, me. I always love when I'm talking to myself, third person. All right, so let's find me. So this is the record here. This is your client. We can see that this email went out, and we can see too that this is the email because I put the time. This is the email. When you click on the email, you can see what the email was. This is the actual view. So the client got, I know I didn't show up because I need to do the next step, which is to actually sign fill out the profile. So what happens after the proposal, your client's going to get an email that says, okay, thanks for signing said proposal. Now it's time for you to actually, this is the next email that goes out, which is, okay, I'm delighted to inform you that your proposal has been approved. We've received it. Now we need you to actually fill out your profile. Filling out the profile is what actually drops you into the workflow. So then your client will click on the profile and then they'll get the opportunity to fill out their information. I've made this sticky so I can make this go a little bit quicker, but I'm going to put in my information. This is what your client will do. My birthday's coming up. And so they'll fill in their profile information. They'll talk about, when the trip is going, which obviously they should have the same dates. You can always change the dates if for some reason they put in the dates incorrectly. But this is kind of what you want. You want your client to fill out this information. And we talked about this yesterday. We want them to fill out as much information as possible. Here, so I've added this field here because this is what is when we were talking yesterday about conditional logic. If they say, yes, client is booking, it's going to take them straight here. Let's say they're like, no, you're booking. Then we want to get some airline preference information from them if we haven't already gotten that. So this is the opportunity to do that. So it's going to pull in and ask them specific airline questions based on who's booking the air. I'm going to skip that just for this part. Passport you can do. So here, I'm going to skip this here. So if you have additional travelers, you're going to put this additional traveler information. If they don't, and you skip that, you'll go straight here. We've added the insurance acknowledgement in terms of, because at the time that you're doing your proposal, you should have already talked about travel insurance. Hopefully as a part of your process, you've included travel insurance in the quote. You already know, and they already know if they're going to be accepting or not. If they decline, then they need to sign the fact that they're declining, and you get that signature and that acknowledgement here. If they accept, then they've accepted, and then they're going to go straight to signature. So either way, we want to make sure that we get that decline right here at this point if they're declining insurance or if they're accepting insurance. And then you're going to sign it, and then client is going to get a really nice thank you. This act is what's going to drop them into the opportunity. And where did it go? I just saw it. It was here just a second ago. Oh, I didn't see the date, so it may have moved somewhere. So let's see what happens when we refresh. So let's also take a look at the record. I'm going to open up another screen just so we can see like what's happening on your client record at the same time. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Somebody said that I'm choppy. Can you guys hear me okay?
You're fine here.
Yeah. Okay. So what I want,
fine for me too.
What I want you to realize is that it didn't go here. It moved to 45 days out. I'm gonna have to fix that because this is not confirmed. So I'm gonna fix this now. I didn't catch this before. It moved because we're already 45 days out, I guess, from whatever date I selected. So that, I think I was messing with this. So this date, so there's a bit of a glitch. I'm not even gonna lie. I was messing with these dates and this movement here, but what should happen is that this opportunity trip is gonna go right here in awaiting to confirmation. So I'll fix these dates and where it's gonna go into the queue, because we ultimately want this trip to wait until we get a confirmation. And it could be because I already have a confirmation on this record. But nonetheless, this is the opportunity. So this, again, I want you to think of opportunities equivalent to trips, right? So you have a client, they have an opportunity in the system that's equivalent to a trip. So once they've approved the trip, then it's going to create an opportunity automatically for you. It's going to send out notice to your client to let them know that everything is started and that we're in a holding pattern. And so the client also received an email that said, you as the advisor, you got an email to let you know that the profile has been completed. This also, the client signed it, and then they'll get an email that says that it's signed. I think this is the second one. So they'll get an email to let them know that it's been signed. This actually is the proposal part. All right, so now I'm in the trip and I've got all this information. So as the advisor, once you've got the profile, your next thing is to go to your supplier, go hook it, make sure you get all the confirmations, you get everything done. Once you're done, then you need to come back to this record and update the confirmation. You can update the confirmation field is the key that's going to, and see, this record already has a confirmation because I was playing with this earlier. So you normally would not have a confirmation here. You'd add your confirmation, and then that's going to get you to the next stage. Does that make sense? I'm going to pause a little bit, so I apologize because I was playing with these records earlier, so probably should have picked somebody that was vanilla. Any questions on this so far? All right, so I got a client, I've got my supplier, and now I need to put in the confirmation information. So I'm going to put in a new confirmation number just so we can see. Here, and then I'm going to click update, and then that's going to move it to the next phase in the system. So what you're really going to be doing is interacting with your trip and your client through the opportunity page. Right now, what we've completed is the trip information. There are certain fields that need to be updated in order to get the flow moving. And I'm going to talk about a little bit of those in just a minute. But most of the ones that are on this page will dictate how your client will move through the system. So for example, if you have a client that is self-booked, you're going to want to send them the flight information form later in the process. So you want to make sure that you select yes, flight book, because then that will kick off the automation at the appropriate time for them to get the form so that you can get the flight information. Okay. So in the training, I will be going over all of the fields that really are tied to specific automation, and you're going to want to make sure that those fields are complete for your trip so that you don't have to worry about sending out and collecting the flight information. You don't have to worry about sending out the passport information. All of that is keyed off of data in a particular field. If you need to change that data in the field, it will also re-put the person in like take them back out of the automation and put them back in the automation. So for an example, for start date, like if the start date of the trip changes, we actually want you to go in the contact record, change that, because then all the dates associated with that trip are going to change according to the start date. The 90-day, the 45-day, the 30-day, all of those dates will change when the start date changes. So we want to be super clear about where and how you do that. And I do describe the details of that in the training. I'm going to pause, see if there's any question. Does your program do Stripe? I assume that that's what you mean, Nikki. And yes, it does do Stripe. So we do interact with Stripe. This is all of your payments are going to be handled through the payment feature. This is really just managing no strip. What do you mean no strip? What does that mean? I don't know what no S strip means. I probably am having a blonde moment. All right, maybe if you could explain what that means. But this record right here is really how you manage the communication with your client and where they are in the phase of the trip, so the journey. So we've got several stages that we're tracking. We're tracking when you receive the actual approval, before you actually get confirmation from your supplier. They will sit here in booking confirmation until 180 days. Then it'll move into the 90-day mark, 90 days before the trip, send out communication here. The communication that I'm looking to send out 90 days before the trip is making sure that we have passport. You can define additional criteria if you want, but we have a workflow designed at the 90-day mark, looking to make sure that the client's passport information is in the system. And if it isn't, there's an series of email information that's going out asking for passport information. At the 30-day mark, we're looking for, at the 45-day mark, we're looking for passport and flight information if they are self-booked. And again, we're sending out information to the client, asking them to give us the flight information and the passport information. We have yes.
Oh, quick question. So if it's a domestic trip and there's no need for a passport, is there a way to like check off no passport needed so it won't go into that phase, or no?
Yeah, we could. I could take that down. I did think about domestic, but I didn't build anything out for bypassing passport. But it's good. It's a good question. There isn't anything built right now for it, but yes. So that would still require an action from the advisors to define if a passport is needed or not. And we could build a field that would do that. I could put that on our list of things to do.
Yeah, I'm thinking it can happen at the time when we do the confirmation.
Yes. So on the confirmation, because my expectation is that here, when you are in this trip, you are going to have to fill out the confirmation information here. So we could say, because we're asking flight information too.
Passport required.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Required, yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So yes does not mean today. Yes means I heard you, and I will add it to the list. Okay.
Okay.
All right. But good call. All right, and then and so we'll call that password required check. All right, and then so again, confirmation is what we're looking for here. If let's say the client isn't booking and you're booking on the behalf of the client, we're looking to make sure that we've got all of the flight information, because even before the 7 days before, that's when we want to send out the final documents and the final confirmations for the trip. We want to make sure that we've got all of the flight information so that we can pull that into a sort of summary for the clients as well. So you're going to do all that on this trip section of the opportunity here. Okay. All right, and then the last, so most of these phases, these are really stages for you guys to think about. Do you want to do some additional communication? Where you would do that is in your email templates. You would add, let's say in the 90-day mark, you want to add a packing list, or at the 45-day, you want to add a packing list. You'd modify the 45-day email, add your standard packing list as an attachment, and that's what you're going to send out to your clients on, do you know what I mean? As a part of this communication. So we're not doing a lot in terms of each of these phases, as much as making sure that we're collecting key information. So at the 90-day, it's passport. At the 45-day, it's flight information. 30 days, the only thing that we're doing, I don't have an automation built because this is really a personal thing. If I'm doing a group trip at the 30-day mark, I'm inviting people to a virtual meet and greet. So I actually have a 30-day check that I'm doing. But as a standard for travel advisors, since we're doing a 45-day check, I'm not doing anything here. So there's not any action happening at the 30-day. We go straight to 7-day. At the 7-day, we're sending final documents, an email that has final documents. There's places, if you guys are using itinerary builders or you have a location for all of your client documents, you can add the link and it'll update the automatic email that goes out here. And then the day before the trip, we're just pretty much sending out the same reminders the day before the trip with the same information that we sent on the 7 days. And then the day of the trip, we're sending out like an SOS. How are things? Are you okay? Is the trip going the way that you want? And then we'll do a return home. Now, on this release, we are ending right here on the trip, because in the next phase, in the results, that's when we'll do the survey. We'll do a request for Google review. We'll do some really fancy stuff in the review on the return home. So I'm just letting you guys know that this phase ends right here when they come back home. I'm going to pause, ask if there's any questions, and then I'll actually show you kind of what some of this looks like in motion in terms of emails that are going out. Any questions?
This is really great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It looks good. Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah. So I was playing. I've been playing with this a lot, and I desperately want you guys to, the ones who are trying this out. I want you guys to absolutely kind of push this stuff through so that you can see the emails and just see the behavior of the system. And you guys, just like this passport return, necessary check. That's a great add item. I'm going to get all of these working the way that they need to. They are. It's just we've got a glitch that I just saw that I need to fix. So let me just show you where all your emails are. So right here underneath marketing, if you go to emails and templates, all of your emails are categorized by the pillar. The one that we're talking about right here is step 4. So these are all the emails that we've got, 20 emails that have been designed, the 90-day, no passport, there's reminders. There's typically 3 reminders per type of request that we ask for information. So at the 90-day, we're looking for passport. So there's 3 reminders. At the 45-day, we're looking for passport and flight. So 3 reminders. So, we ask for your traveler profile information. We're sending out 3 reminders to make sure that they fill out that profile form. So again, for every action that we have, we're sending out reminders, and we're checking the system to make sure that we received what we want from the client. This is probably the easiest thing for travel advisors to automate. So when I talk about where's the opportunity, it's all of this collection of data. I need data from you. I need to give you data. I need this from you. I need to give it, right? So again, the more that you can standardize that, the more you can sleep good at night, not having these breakthrough sweat moments saying, oh my gosh, did I get the passport, or do I need the passport, or did I get the flight? Literally for us, what I've done is I used to let everybody, give me flight information up until the very end. And then I'm like, no, if you don't have flight information, my language is a lot stronger than the language that I wrote for you all. But my language is, we will not do your ground transportation if you do not provide, flight information by X date. And then we're sending out reminders for that. And if you don't do it, then you're on your own. Cause I'm not, I just am not going to go to the last minute trying to get your taxi and your, get everything. And you've got flight changes. You can't give me the airport correctly and all that other stuff. So I'm a little miffed by that. So I've got to get over it. But that's literally, you get to really define kind of what your hard stance is going to be, yes or no, what you're going to do, and that. But this is one of the easiest things. It's not easy in the current systems to do all of this, but this is really, if you can standardize it, try to standardize it, try to get these emails, communication, and automation. What I will tell you is, since SMS has got this new standard, we've not written any SMS messages to go with this, but you absolutely could. When I get more people on the platform who have been approved and are doing message marketing, we'll add text message marketing as a standard, as a part of these messages as well. But right now, it's just the FCC or whoever's doing the approvals. It's just taking a long time to get the approvals, and we just don't have enough people approved for us to have gone down that road. But that will be a feature that we release. Okay, so here's where, and so
quick question. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, absolutely.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
So we just talked about what happens, like what goes out to the client, right?
Mhm.
And if they don't respond, there are 3 attempts. Are we getting those CC'd on all those communications?
I didn't
for those
include
that are
you.
going out?
I didn't include you as a CC on all the communications because I just thought that that would be a lot. However, you can see, like you can imagine, right, that you're getting CC'd on every single communication that goes out for your client. So what I did do is, instead of CCing you on all the communications, is if on the second attempt the client hasn't done the action, I send you what is referred to as an internal notification via email that says, we've sent out 2 messages. Here's some client, and I'll show you what one of those looks like. So let's just go into the 90-day automation.
Yeah, I just was wondering what happens after that 3rd attempt and if you still haven't gotten it.
Yeah, if you haven't gotten a response, then I'm bugging you. I'm not bugging you a lot.
Know, right?
Yeah, so I'm not.
So I can know the bug.
That's right. So I'm not bugging you a lot, but what I do is, like, this is the 4th email that's gone out. I send you an internal notification that says, hey, that your client hasn't received, after the 3rd and final notice, they will have not submitted. And then I put their name, their number, their trip start date. So, and if you're in the system with the phone, you literally will be able to click that phone number and call them from that email.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Because I have no problem with it.
Yes. So I suspected that you didn't want to bug them immediately, but I do, like, for everyone, that every time we ask for information, we're waiting for a period of time. And if we don't receive it, we then send a notification to you to tell you to go bug them.
Yeah, that's fine. Because up front, I'm real firm with them on making sure this is your email that you want your communications to go to, because this is how we're going to be communicating.
Yep.
And so I'm real firm up front. So if I get somebody who's not responding all of a sudden, then yeah, if I have to call them, yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to be very firm on that. I am now to this day. So.
Yep. And so it's our hope that we are going to help you be the bugaboo to your clients to help, and then and then help you understand when you've got variations from that. So what I mentioned yesterday is, I really like to see you guys manage to exception as opposed to manage to the rule. And what that really means is, everyone is going to, most people are going to try and be compliant, but then you'll have those problem child, and then you're really spending the time with the problem child, or you're cutting them loose. So either way, those people are the things that are bubbling up, and then the things that are working the way that they're supposed to, they're working the way that they're supposed to. And if you ever need to see it, you can always go to the client record, or client record, again, is where all the history is happening about the client. So if you want to see all the emails that have gone out to your client, you'll go into the client record and you will actually look to see, and you've got all that history. You've got all the history of all the emails that you've sent them, every form that they've submitted, every time that you've interacted with them. It's always going to be right here in the center of the screen. Okay.
Got it. That's perfect. Thank Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so I showed you where you can actually modify the emails. So this is where you will modify the emails, personalize these emails, and make them your own. And they are going to be, again, split up by each of the particular pillars. Inclusive of this pillar, of this particular phase, is payment management. So I've got a whole class dedicated on just understanding payments. We primarily support direct payments. So we are processing payments not for you. The money's not coming into our account. You will be connecting your own Stripe, Authorized Net, whatever merchant account that you want. We will have some additional merchant account vendors available, but right now it's Authorized Net, Stripe, and NMI. And you can do PayPal. I'm not a big fan of PayPal for us, but our main processor is Stripe. I am talking to a couple of other processors specifically for our industry to see if they will, be able to provide us solutions equivalent or better than what Stripe can do. But all of your payments, if you're processing internal to the system, all of that is going to be done, and all of that history is going to live in the payments tab. Again, we have a whole class dedicated to managing payments and how to set all of that up. What I really want to show you here, though, is that there is situations, I know, with you advisors who are not processing internally. You're doing all supplier in the, in the Travel Joy language. You're doing supplier invoicing. We don't have that functionality to be able to do supplier invoicing in that capacity where we're actually capturing a credit card, we're vaulting the credit card number and surfacing that up to you all. We don't have that feature, but what I have been able to do is create functionality that allows you to do two major things. So one of our partners is Travel Industry Solutions that does the legal agreements. So if you have legal agreements through them, they provide you a credit card authorization form, a travel service agreement, and terms and conditions, among other things. And so they've got a team of lawyers that are focused on the travel industry. So when I have a question legally about how we should handle things, I usually go to the owner of that company. And what she told me is that for advisors, when you guys are taking in like you're processing, let's say you're processing through FunJet or Vacation Express or Vax or what have you, you still need to get a credit card authorization. Maybe you have a separate link that you're using, a payment link. So what we did do is we designed a solution around that. And so that solution is going to be under, so I'm going to kind of show you what it looks like on the front end. And I'm going to just ask the question while I'm pulling this up. Like, how many of you guys are using third-party links to collect payments? How many of you guys are doing that?
I have.
Yeah. So what she said from a process perspective is that you still need to get credit card authorization and have that on file, even though you're sending the client to a third party to do the process. So what we did to match that requirement is we created a credit card authorization form, which will allow you to actually get their name, their trip information, what they're authorizing. I am not an attorney, nor do I pretend to play one on television. So you will need to have your credit card authorization terms. If you do have a relationship with Travel Industry Solutions, they do provide that language. You'll put that here. Your client will approve, and then I'm just going to show you. I don't remember if I've got a link in here, but let me show you kind of what you need to do. So this is your client filling this out. What you will do on the front end to get this set up is you will just make sure that you've added a payment link to their record so that they can get it.
So Sunday, would that be the payment link, the one, because I'm a member of PIS, and would that be their payment link for the authorization?
You could.
Payment link?
Yeah, you could do that as well. I don't care. From my perspective, I don't care what link you put there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the terms, I do have a question, and I don't know if you can answer this, but because I am a member, yeah, I do have the terms and everything through that membership. And I always get confused, like, at what point can we, like you said, to put the terms and conditions here, they have it two ways. You can copy and paste, or you can embed
Yep. I
a
understand
code
exactly.
or whatever you call
Yep.
it.
Yep. So there's let me
I
just.
prefer to do it that way just because it updates automatically if anything changes.
Yeah, but I just want to make sure you're clear about what the embed code is, because I was just working with a client on this last week. The embed
Okay.
code that they give you is for the long terms, which is your website terms. I'm sorry, it's the long document that the long terms and conditions.
Yeah, it's the long. Yeah,
Yes.
it's not the short.
It's not the short one. And the short one is called the travel service agreement. And that travel
Yeah.
service agreement needs to live at your invoice and your proposal. So in this training that I do, I talk about that your invoice template, when you set up your invoice settings, you need to add your terms, your TSA
Gotcha. So
there.
that's where the short one would go.
That's where the short one. So right here, invoice and terms, this is where your short terms are going to go. So every time you create an invoice, it'll show up here. You're going to want to do it on your proposal, create a proposal template. I show you how to do the proposal template. You want to add it there. You'll want to have it on your group booking page. You want to have it there. So anytime you ask for money, you need your short terms. And what she's done is she is then in the short terms, she's linking to the long terms. Does that make sense?
Oh, wow. Wait a minute. Say that last time.
Yeah. So, yeah. So this is the short terms that include the credit card authorization, that include, listen, here's what I want, you're authorizing payment. This is what I refer to as her short terms. Right.
Yeah.
But if you read the first paragraph, it's linking to the long terms. And it's implied that the person, when they sign this, that they've read the long terms. So the embed code is for the long terms. So when those change, if you embed that, and there's a way to do that on our site, if you don't have your own website, you can embed them here, you can embed them on your own thing, and then it'll just update. But it's not updating the short terms. Her and I talked about this on Friday, but does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense, because I really couldn't identify what the differences were.
Yep. The short terms is a credit card authorization and acknowledgement that they've read the long terms.
Got it. So the short term is for any payment.
Any payments, anytime money. Yep.
Yeah.
Anytime you. That's right. So that's why it needs to be on those locations. In our system, we give you a standard place to put it. So if you add it to these standard places, when you're creating invoices, your terms will always come up. When you're creating proposals, as long as you're using the template, your terms will always be there. On your booking pages, it'll be there. Does it make sense?
Okay. Yeah, no, that's perfect. I was confused, because I'm like, wait a minute, you got a long one. So when do I use the long one? And when do I use the short one? And then I have terms of use, which is for the website.
That is correct.
That
is correct. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, like this is probably one of the things, like I have an aha moment like every 6 months. I'm like, okay, the terms and conditions are not the same thing as the website use. It's not, they're not the same thing, right? And so I keep getting wrapped around the axle on that, but they're not. So for all of you people, they're not the same thing. One is for your website, one is for travelers. And the language in those documents and those agreements are wildly different.
Yeah, I'm so glad you clarified that, because I've had the membership since day one, which was in April.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost approaching a year, and I have just now realized that I haven't been able to use it to its full potential, because when she first started, of course, that wasn't part. You know, we didn't get that training that they're doing now.
Yeah. Yeah.
To explain, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? Yeah. So thank you so much for that.
You are so welcome. So where was I? I was on the payments. Where was I before that though? I forgot. Oh, I was going to show you guys the authorization. All right. So here to answer, because you asked sort of a twofold question in that question, which is if you're using travel industry solution, do you need to use this? Not really, because she's doing the authorization in her system. You don't need to, because she's like, you literally are swivel chairing into TIS. She's providing you a authorization that you're going to send to your client. You're going to get that authorization and you're going to get the credit card number. You're going to store it there, and then you're going to make a payment, and it's all going to be done there. Now, you can, to me, she's the exception to the rule. Like Vacation Express and or your suppliers, they are travel suppliers that you are operating as a go-between for them. So you don't have a credit card authorization on file if you don't do this process. They have it on file, and you're not protected, they're protected. So you want to make sure that you get a credit card authorization on your side. If you're with TIS and you don't do this, you want to make sure that you either include the travel industry terms. This is the location where you add your TSA stuff, the language in there. Did whoever asked that question, does that make sense? You copy that on this form, that those TSA things, and you would get it signed right here. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. All right. So assuming all of that is done, right, I'm going to do this. 15,000 is big. And then they're going to sign. And then the next thing that they're going to get is a thank you that says, okay, that's great. And then this, as long as you filled out the field on their contact record, it will then take them, and this doesn't have it, but it will then take them to wherever you want them to go. So if you want them to go to Vacation Express, FunJet, whoever, to actually make the payment, you've got your part covered, which is to get the authorization that they did, and it's on and stored on your side, and then you can send them to a payment location of your dreams. And the only thing that you have to do to make this button work is you've got to go into the contact record and you've got to update that payment link. So I'm just going to open up I don't know why I don't like to open up other people. It's a test system, but I always like to just make sure I'm updating my own record. So you can hide this and it'll only show you the fields. That payment record, that payment field is located under payment terms, and it's located right here. So as long as this is updated, I don't know if I've got the right Sunday. There's so many of me, but as long as that is updated, this link is going to work. I don't think it's the right Sunday that this is record, but does that make sense? Like, this is the link. Update that with Vacation. I was testing this with an advisor. This is the link that they provided me. So as long as that's updated, then this button is going to work for them to go. I wonder which Sunday it is. I always like to know which Sunday it is. Let's see, which Sunday did I select? That's Butler. Let's see which one that was. Let's do it again.
Now, if you do it this way, where you have the payment link attached, once they submit their payment, you'll get the notification. Will it automatically put them in the work, the workflow, or is there something we have to do on our end to move that forward?
Yeah, you will have to move them. Oh, it looks like there's an error in the location name. Yeah, because there's no way, I'm not integrated with those systems, so there's no way for me to know if you receive the payment. So you'll have to manually move them over. You'll have to manually update. And so what I really recommend there is is I personally like to send an email an invoice from my system. So I will generate an invoice. I won't send it to them, but I will mark it as paid as I'm receiving and then send them the receipt off of the invoice.
Yeah, okay.
And so what you would do in that situation is like, I did that. I would create a new invoice. It'd probably be a recurring invoice with the amount. So again, we're processing payments internally, but you can always do a manual. You can always record a payment. And after you fill out the information, I'm just going to fill out my name.
So this is kind of like, if I want to look at it and equate it to something, it's basically almost like me posting a payment.
That is right. That's exactly what it's like. And I just like to keep all my records together. So if I'm using an external system, that means the external system has the records, right? So then I got to go swivel chair for them. And then I don't know what if their email server's down? I don't know if the receipt went out or not, so I want to control the flow of information as much as possible. So that's why, and I want my name of my business to be the record for everything.
And I use Travel Joy, so it's pretty much equivalent.
It's equivalent to that.
Process, like where we do this invoice and they get that versus supplier stuff.
That is correct. And I piggyback off of that same concept.
Yeah, that's fine. That's perfect. I love that. Thank you.
All right. Okay, there's a lot going on tonight in terms of what we're doing, but there's a lot going on in this process. Really, the biggest action items that you guys should be really worried about is making sure that things flow when you want them, making sure that you're sending and getting information in when you want. Again, we've standardized some specific events. That's not to say that you can't standardize more events or you can not be as strict as I am on some of them. But again, we've got a starting point, and that's really the spirit of this. The booking part, once you've booked it with your supplier, it should just be about you sending and collecting information until the client goes out of town. Make sense? All right. Any questions, thoughts? Okay, so Nikki, you said when you book, we do not have any integration with any suppliers right now. We are fairly new, we are new. And although we're building on some existing technology, this solution, most of the suppliers that you've got to build in deep integration, and they're not open to little people. So we will get there. We're just not there yet. So I don't have any integration to any of the suppliers as of yet, but I am in talks with many of them so that we can try and get some travel data in, but not right now. Any other questions? Okay. So that's it. That's all I got. That's it. That's all I got.
A question, Ms. Sunday.
Absolutely.
I did put in a chat, but I was just trying to make sure that these trainings, they come via email, correct? Or where do I get them?
So I think it's the same lady who was asking before, Latoya. Yes. So yes, inside of our portal, so when you register for the software, there's this school. You see this? It says Travel Portal. Am I still sharing my screen?
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am.
So Travel Pro Portal is where I release all training relative to the software. Now, if you're a student of mine underneath Online Travel Boss, you're going to see Online Travel Boss School training underneath that one. But all of the training for the software is going to be underneath this community called Travel Pro Suite. And then when you go to learning, awesome, you'll see all of the courses. So we've got travel requests. If you're new to the system, that's where you should start. Mastering payments is going to go over how to set up the payments. And then client booking is what we're going over now. And then also to get your text messaging approved, we've got a class for that as well.
Oh, awesome. Okay, thank you.
Yep. So my goal, again, in these workshops is to get you guys to see that you can run your business and standardize it. And the more you can standardize it, the easier it becomes for you to focus on other things like getting more clients, like designing more group trips if that's what your thing is, right? We want this to be temporarily painful while you get it set up. You learn the process of how you want to standardize your stuff, get in that cadence, and then forget about it. Like you just walk in, you're like, okay, a client comes in, I'm going to get them booked. I got to get 6-7 pieces of information, get it in the system. System's going to send them reminders. And if they don't do what they're supposed to, I'm going to get them reminders to remind me. And then I'm going to go chase them. And that's it. And then I'm going out of town. And it's a rinse and repeat. If you can get into a rinse and repeat cycle, then again, it's going to free up your time and your effort so that you can take more requests. You can design more trips. You can focus on marketing. You can focus on engagement and focus on that part of the business instead of the operations. All right.
Hey, Sandy, I have a question. So
Yes.
I have the upgraded membership, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you said that it entitles me to I think one-on-one, I think a month or something like that.
That is correct. Yes, ma'am.
With you. So is there a link where I can schedule that?
Yes. Who is that speaking? Is that
This is Lakita.
Lakita? Yes, there is a link, and I will send it to you. I thought I did, so I will send it to you, Opus Platinum people.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yep.
Also, I just lost my thought. Shoot. It'll come back to me.
Okay.
Okay.
Hopefully you ever asked the question about.
Do you have, excuse me, do you have the information for the TIC? I said the CC or the something, the Travel Industry Solution?
Yes, I do.
Or is it somewhere?
It is. I think I have. Yes, I do. I have to go get the link. I'll get it to you. Because there's a coupon. I think there's a discount that I can get you guys. So let me get that for you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
This was a lot. I'm lost today. I was fine yesterday tracking.
Well, the spirit, and every time I do a workshop, I feel like it's a lot, right? It's a lot to develop. It's a lot to train it. It's a lot to do it. But really, this class was really just to show you what can be done. There's really not, let's talk about really what you guys have to set up. I'm going to show you guys again what you need to set up to make all this work. You need to do some testing to make sure you understand the process, but really from a setup perspective in this phase, it's definitely less work than you did for the travel request setup, okay? So let me show you what you have to do. I'm going to go over that again, just to hit it home. You need to review your emails, make sure you're okay with the language of the emails, right? So you need to do these 5 steps. There's going to be a 7th, there's going to be another step that's going to be to test it. And that's really where the work is going to be, is to test and make sure it's doing what you want it to do. But you need to review the emails, make sure that the language makes sense for you and you're okay with the emails. That's a one-time thing. You need to review the surveys, right? Like I think there was somebody earlier who was saying, that's great, but we are focused on weddings. So thanks, Sunday, for your generic form, but we need to customize the form. Same thing may apply. Maybe you don't do a lot of international and you're doing primarily domestic. So maybe you want to have a domestic ID check. I don't know, right? But the point is you have the forms and the surveys. I tell you which ones those are. Take a look at it, see if you need to customize them. Then there's 2 funnel pages that you need to customize. Not any heavy lifting, no videos required unless, of course, you want to record one. This is really, do you like the look and feel of it? So very simple changes that you have to do here. There's about 7 or 8 custom values that you need to provide your custom links for, and that's it. The system then should do the work for you based on some key information that you need to be providing it at key parts. So really your work is working the opportunity. Does that make sense?
Okay.
That okay doesn't sound strong, but I'm going to trust that you will get module 2 done, and then we'll talk about how do you use the system. Because once module 2 is done, it's working these trips. It's going in the system and getting the confirmation. It's going in the system and updating the payment link. It's updating, changing the start date at the training. It's working the trips. It's actually working these cards and making sure that you've got the information so that the trips are moving along the path like they need to. Okay.
Sonia, I remember what it was. I was going to ask you. So when we last met, we talked about briefly, but we talked about when I was setting up everything, my Google business Google page.
Yep.
So I messed up.
This would be a good thing for us to, Lakita, to talk about at the end of the session. Troubleshooting, we're going to do that right after this.
Okay, good. Okay,
yep.
Perfect.
Stay on and we'll troubleshoot anything that you think that you've messed up, and we'll try and fix it.
I don't know if we can do it, or if you could just give me some advice on whatever you could do.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. So before we go into deep diving and troubleshooting individual accounts, anybody have any questions about automation? Really, I just want to bring home opportunities for automation in your systems, and the way that you do business is in the way that you collect information and send information, and really make sure that exceptions to those standards are managed in a way that you don't have to hover over it. I mean, that's really the spirit of what automation should do. Eliminate you having to worry about key milestones in the journey are taken care of. And that's what we are doing through these different pipelines, is making sure that things are moving along, that you can visually see it, and then you can also see the details and really manage to exceptions. Okay. How many of you guys have been thinking about your business? How many of you guys are like, oh my God, like I'm not doing this. How many of you guys are scared? I'm not laughing at your fear, but I can relate to it.
I am.
Somebody's like, I am.
It's definitely overwhelming for sure, just to get everything up and going.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm scared and excited all at the same time.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
It is scary. Like, how many of you guys are scared every time somebody goes out of town? Like, I am like petrified. I'm not so much anymore, but I was petrified because I just didn't know if I had it all taken care of.
Yeah. That's me all the time. I'm that way, even though I know I did it perfect, but anything can happen, right? So
yeah.
That's the thing.
And so what we're trying to do with this process and the system is to have you think about all of those things that keep you in fear or scared about it, so that we can account for them and handle them. So this is the time when you should be like, well, what about this? What about this? What about that? What about this? Right? Because the more you can be prepared for it and you plan for it, the less then the more time you can make yourself available when the airline cancels trips, right? You already know that they didn't get insurance. You don't have to think about, oh, well, did they get it? Did I get a signature? Oh my God, are they going to sue me? Like, you already know that all of that from a procedural perspective is covered from a risk. You've got that. Let's plan it first. Let's plan the business first. Let's design solutions that help you deliver the way you want to work your business, so that you can then work the business without having to worry about all these other things. It is overwhelming, and I get it, but these are upfront decisions that you make, you set up, and then you're good. And then we're just really focused on, how do we design more trips? How do we get more requests coming in? Calendar is filling up. People are submitting requests and they're booking calendars appointments, and they're waiting for quotes. You're doing all that stuff, and you're not worried about all this other minutia stuff. All right. All right. Any other questions? Because then I'm going to jump, because I think we've got some people who are interested in doing some deep diving troubleshooting, and we're going to move to that part of the fun.
Yeah. I just had a quick question. I just wanted to know, did you have like a coaching that you do that I could sign up for, like a one-on-one, so I could ask some questions?
Yes. So there is some opportunity to do private coaching. So I can reach out to you, or you can reach out to me, and I can get you that link. I will say that my calendar is pretty full for private coaching right now. So I do have a couple of people who are finishing up, so we could talk about what your requirements are.
Okay. Yeah. So you want me to send you an email?
Yeah, that would definitely remind me.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. I'm gonna let you guys go. Tomorrow we're gonna talk about AI, and we're gonna talk about the future, like some of the cool stuff that we're gonna be releasing over the next 6 months or so, probably less time than that, but how we can use AI to help personalize the journey, how we can use some tools to help make some of this interaction with their clients not all on us, but let some of the tools do the work for us, even more so than just the automations that we've talked about. So tomorrow is really when I'm going to geek out. So if you are a geek like me, you're going to love tomorrow. If you're not, you're still going to love it because there's some cool stuff we're going to be talking about. All right. So if you want to stay on, we're going to do some troubleshooting. We're going to take a look at some accounts, and we're going to answer some specific questions about what Travel Pro Suite can do, or if you're actually diving in, let's take a look at what's going on. And I think LaToya, you were the first person. So for those who are dropping, it was great having you. I'll see you tomorrow. For those who are staying, let's get to it.
Yes, ma'am. So I was just trying to figure out, because I just got into the platform today and was looking at it. If I have a MailChimp account, so do I still need to continue to have my MailChimp while using the Travel Pro?
You do not need MailChimp anymore if you.
Oh my God. Oh Lord.
No, you do not need MailChimp. It will.
Oh my God.
Eliminate MailChimp. I am not a big fan of MailChimp. I've tried. I was going to train on it years ago, and every time I go into it, I'm like, this is BS.
So this would handle like when I'm sending off like newsletters and all that?
Yes, it will. So let me show you. Would you like to see? Would you like to see it?
Yes, ma'am. I also wanted to know, do I need, I saw something about website. So could I build a website on here or no?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay.
So yeah, we're all about the elimination of features or software that you already have, like, and trying to consolidate that model. So funnels, I'm building out like workflow funnels for advisors in the tool, but you can host your website. Our sites are hosted on here. Our school is hosted on here. So our online travel boss is hosted on here. Like, we're in the middle of like relaunching it, but this is all hosted within our platform.
Okay, that's nice.
You know, this is our homepage, but this is what we have a Bali trip that we're doing, but this is the page for the Bali trip.
Oh, I saw that email too. Okay.
Yes. So you saw the newsletter that came out yesterday. That newsletter was designed in this system as well. So
wow.
Newsletter, okay. We can do websites, we can do newsletter. And, you know, I don't want to overwhelm everyone by so I don't really focus on those features because it can be a little bit overwhelming, but you can do blogs our blog is hosted on the site as well. So hold on, let me see if I can, our blog is on the site.
Now, when you say it's hosted on the site, is there a cost for the hosting?
No. I mean, there's a cost. So there's incremental costs associated with the above and beyond your subscription for email sends, for phone and SMS. And if you use any of our additional like AI tools and that kind of stuff. But other than that, your subscription covers these website hosting pages. Now, you still have to pay for your domain through GoDaddy or who's your domain provider, but we're hosting the actual pages on our platform. Does that make sense? So like you can blog, like if you guys, and so this is the kind of stuff that I'm saying, like we need to get out of like the booking management and get into marketing. Like, how do you market and get your your business out there and get discovered? Like, how are you getting people to click and get on your list so that you can actually interact with them? These are the types of tools. We also have the ability to do social media posting on your behalf. So we have a scheduler that can do the posting. Again, there's so many features of this tool I'm not even talking about, because I really just want operationally you guys to be able to. Alexa's really, she's happy
I
to
definitely need to find out about that, because I have two things that I'm paying for when it comes to that part.
What are they?
One is Voyager Social Manager.
Yep.
And I'm paying for that. And then the other, I just signed up like back in November. TrueVale.
What is that?
They do. TrueVale is they have a social media manager portion where you can post and schedule, but they would actually do a newsletter for you and do your create your content and post for you.
How's that working for you? Like, are you getting engagement on the content? Like, is it?
Well, they just started doing it like in the last 2 weeks, and so far very little, not a lot as of yet. But I think it's not because of what they're putting out there. I think it's because I have too much of different things out there, and I need to scale back, because I have Branch Up doing posting. You know what I mean? Like, I do postings through the Voyager on my own, and then they have some stuff that they do automatically for you. And then I have this. I don't know if it's messing up the what do you call it, the algorithm or whatever you call it.
Yeah, so not knowing exactly all the different things that you're doing, my first go-to is the messaging. Like, what is it that you're posting, and what are the goals? Like, what's the focus?
Well,
who are you trying to attract? I can't answer that question now, but that usually when it comes to,
I can't even answer it, to be honest. A lot of it is random.
Yeah.
Yep. Some of it is destination driven. Some of it is just general travels, thoughts, stuff like that.
Yep. So when it comes, so a tool and even services are only as good as the definition and we understand what the goals are, right? So from a tools perspective, my goal is to provide you guys with solutions that help you consolidate and answer key information about your business so that you can make as best decisions that you can in your business. It first starts understanding the journey. Right now, what I'm looking to do with this tool is to help you guys consolidate the journey so that you can then start to say, oh my gosh, I am posting 15 different thousand messages and nobody's connecting with it. But you probably don't even have the time to look at the metrics to determine if you got all these people doing stuff for you, but you don't even know if it's doing anything for you. Or if it's tied to any larger item, right? Like, what is it that you want to promote this year? What do you want to sell this year? Marketing tied to that. So there's really a bigger strategy. And what I don't want you guys walking away from this session or any other session that you are interacting with out there on the internet streets is no tool is going to solve your problem if you don't know what the problem is and you don't have a plan. That's what we're trying to solve here, is to create a plan of action on how you operate the business. Once you have that, get it set up. I'm not even, I wish I could be a liar and tell you, oh, it's easy peasy. It's not easy peasy. This is not easy peasy stuff, but it is my hope to make it as easy as possible for you to get it done, get it set up so that we can move on. What is your marketing strategy? Who are you trying to attract? Like, do you?
I think initially I was just trying to make my page active enough since I was building my page.
Yep.
I think I was just trying to keep it busy so that people who were joining in on it would say, "Oh yeah, she has stuff posted," that. So So right now since I started doing that in November, I went from 200 and some people on my business Facebook page to almost 1,000 now. So I think I was just doing it to just keep activity so I can you know, build it up. But now that it's building up, I do need to streamline and scale back and identify, you know, come up with a strategy, like you said.
Yep. Yep. And so one of the things that I would say is what would be even more meaningful to your business is those 1,000 users translated into 1,000 emails that were in your email list, not on Facebook alone.
Right.
That would be way more powerful to you as an advisor and a business owner, is to have created marketing that drives you starting at a 0 or, you know, really small email list, and that marketing got you 1,000 people who were interested in XYZ associated with travel.
Right.
Okay.
So question, Sunday. So if you created a newsletter, then can you just like if you had it as a PDF or something, then just go into the opportunities or your contacts and just email it to everyone?
Yeah, I just saw your text. I'm bringing it up. Give me a second and I'll show you what the newsletter looks like.
This is all great information.
All right, I'm gonna share my screen again. So this is a great, Pam, I know you've got a VA that you're kicking up, and this is a good.
He's on the call now, so this is perfect.
Oh, hello, lady. Hello, VA. All right, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so what we're doing for our newsletter is we've got a campaign that we've created, and we call it our OTB newsletter 2024. So I had my graphic artist put together a template. So I put together the structure and what I wanted, you know, what sections are going to be in that newsletter every week. So she created a banner. We've got sections. We're pulling in key information. And so we went through and we designed it on paper, what I'm going to say and what's going to be in the newsletter. And then we send it out and schedule it, like, you know, so these are the things that we're going to talk about every week. And it's a drag and drop editor. So, you know, I would recommend that you define what you want to talk about every week, right? Define it, build it as a template. And then what we do is every week so that's one way you can do it through an email campaign. Another way is to do it as a blog, as a post on a blog site. And so we literally from here, we are, you know, we're already building out our newsletters for the upcoming weeks based on the way that we build in that content. So you can do it through a campaign, and then you can schedule that campaign out. So let's say I'm going to go to this template and I'm good with the template and the content. I do it. You just hit this button on the right-hand side and you click send, and you can schedule it out. Your title, you can select your smart list from here and schedule it out. So that's one way to do it. Another way that we've done a newsletter, I mean, we played with a couple of options in the last 6 months. So another way is we did it as a blog. So my graphic artist built out our first class newsletter in Canva. And then we embedded, because, you know, she's a graphic artist, so she does that graphic stuff. She does it really well. So we published our newsletter as a Canva, and we built a site around that. That was another way that we did it. And then we just emailed the link. Then the last way we did it was to do it as a blog site. So I think I'm looking for where it is. I think we did it as a blog. I may have abandoned that because I didn't like the way it looked. Here's the newsletter site that we did. So you've got multiple. So we publish then our newsletter this way. So when you see this, this is the newsletter. This is last year's newsletter. And so this is actually embedded code from Canva that she did that. So you've got multiple ways that you can see and realize a newsletter, and you can host it all in the tool. You can do it as a blog. You can do it as an email campaign. You can do it as a site. There's multiple ways you can actually get that done. Does that answer your question, Pam?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. On time again.
That's nice. When you say she embedded that, so was this created in Canva and then she took the link from Canva and embedded it?
Yeah, so what we did is this is a site. So this is our website, the website function of the application. We just created a page called, every month we had a page, and this is just the elements. So this is the banner, like that's a row, this is an image, and then this is HTML code. We took that embed code from Canva and we embedded it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nice.
Yep. And then monthly, I used to release it. I mean, we're going to go back to doing the newsletter, but we released it at the first Monday of the month, or first Sunday of the month, and we just sent the link. But the reason I wanted it off of Canva is because I wanted that traffic, right? And I want to be able to reuse that traffic in advertising. This is the kind of stuff that we want to see you guys do as well, is you're creating, so this content that Branch Up, whoever was speaking, Branch Up and these other services are doing it. It's traffic that you don't get to really use for your benefit. And there's really no other way for me to say that. Like, I want marketing that will allow me to use the results of it, right? Either via email, that's my asset.
What do you mean? I don't understand what you mean when you say it's not to our benefit.
It's not to your benefit in terms of usage. So the whole purpose of marketing is awareness and the ability to grow a community of people that are familiar with your brand. If they are doing marketing and it's getting your name out there, but you can't get your name, like you, so I think that was, I think it was Man Trouble. Lakita. I was like, who is Man Trouble? I want to make sure I said, I was like, I saw your name, but I was like, okay, what's the name that goes with the travel agency? Yeah. So Lakita, you got visibility, right, on your business page, but can you send email to them when you're ready to drop a promotion?
So when I'm ready to drop a promotion, I can send it to those who subscribe.
Yes, that is usable, right? But but getting somebody to like your business page and you didn't get an email or you didn't get subscribers, that is what I mean by that, is that you don't own the traffic, because even if you have them on your business page, unless you're paying to show it to them, they're not seeing it, because organically Facebook isn't going to show the people who like your business page to 100% of that, but you control your email list.
Right. No, I get it.
Yep. I even to the point want to control who visits my page. And again, this is a little bit of advance from a marketing perspective. Like, I even want to control the traffic of the person who lands on my page by a pixel, by some analytic code, and then I can retarget them. If I'm using Canva and I'm publishing everything through Canva, I don't control that traffic. Canva does. So that's why I want everything in my control in terms of my marketing and the visitors that come to my space. Does that make sense?
Well, it kind of does, but I guess I'm still learning that part. So some of it just don't make sense because I'm so new to it and I just don't understand how it works.
And that's fair.
So yeah, so that's, yeah.
But you're in the right space, though. You're moving in the right direction. The fact that you're not just thinking about booking trips, you're thinking about, okay, how am I getting visible? Right?
Yeah.
Yes. So this is definitely not an exercise or activity where we do it all at once, because you can't do it all at once, right? You've got a lot of big, major, monumental things. You're booking trips, right? I think, do you work full time too? Like, you work full time, you have family, right? You have a family, you're implementing a new system, a mammoth of a system, you're learning new processes, and there's a lot of moving parts. So this is an elephant. Like, we are not trying to eat that bad boy all at once.
No. All right, cool.
Perfect. All right. So somebody wrote, I'm in the process of switching over to your program and wanted to know for the initial setup, will SMS and compliance be included in the setup? So Roz, you actually have to do the setup, but I do help you with giving you the information on what the setup is entailing, and we help support you in there. So for SMS compliance, you know, there's a whole application process that you have to go through. Unfortunately, the only influence we have in that space is to try and guide you on what to include in the application. But it's the wild, wild west with that SMS compliance right now. But yes, we do help support you in that. All right. Any other questions or things that we need to go over before we end tonight?
This is Lakita again. I just wanted to
Google.
talk to you about the
Gmail.
Google.
Yeah. Shoot.
So what I did was, and I didn't think about it until I did it, and I'm like, dang, you know, Sunday told me not to do that. Just didn't think about it till I had already done it. So we had a conversation about, you said you was gonna do some research and possibly do a training on people, you know, doing a Google, you know, page or whatever.
Yep.
And so I already had one, but it was linked to my personal email. And then I went in, like an idiot, and changed, and it was already verified and everything, but it wasn't verified for my business email. So I changed it. Well, I didn't change it. I actually you can add a another email user to the account.
Yeah.
And so I added it, the business one, and made it primary, and now it's asking me for verification again.
And there's no way to undo that. There's no way to undo it.
Yeah, I'm like, dang it. I should have just, but I couldn't leave it the way it was because I couldn't connect it because it went to my personal email, which is Gmail.
The verification, though, is not difficult, right? So you have a business address, right?
I don't.
Then it will be difficult.
I mean, I have my home. I don't have a separate address, and even to get a separate address, I can do that, but then I read somewhere where they don't want to see it as a like a mailbox or whatever.
Yeah, it definitely can't be a PO box. So
well, not a PO box, but you know how people get the virtual address.
It has to be a physical address.
It's a physical, but it may be linked. Maybe the address is at a FedEx center that have mailboxes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, and they know. They know.
Yeah, absolutely. So I read somewhere where you can't do that. You have to have a physical, like an actual place where you can go. And I just haven't found one locally yet.
Where are you located?
I'm in Montgomery, Illinois.
So we use Regis, which gives.
I saw myself check, but I didn't see any virtual. All I saw was the ones that were for at shipping places or, you know, those kind of addresses that they gave.
Yeah, so you may.
I think it's an actual virtual office type thing.
So we use Regis. I don't know if Regis is local, but that's the kind of company that you're looking for. Somebody that has a virtual physical office.
Yeah, I looked at them. I also looked at, there's another one called there's a couple of different ones I looked at, and they have locations. I guess see what I don't want to do is pick one that's not close to, right? Maybe it's an hour, 2, 3 hours away. And then I don't know what this verification is going to look like, if they're going to request or require. They said the only way I can verify is through video. I don't know if they're going to require me to be present.
Oh, that's even new.
You know, I don't know what to expect.
That's even new. Like I mean, I did verification.
Exactly. Because I didn't go through that when I did it through my personal email years ago.
Yeah, we did verification when we first moved to Georgia, and they sent a postcard, and so they must have, and this was just like 2 years ago, so they have gotten even slick now. They want video. Yeah, and there's once you do it, like you can't undo it.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I wanted to at least find out what, I don't know.
So Christina said that she got the video verification required as well. Did you already do it, Christina, the verification? Because you did not. Yeah. So excuse me. That is really fairly new, because they don't want.
Well, they don't want online, stuff. They already tell you that doesn't qualify.
Yeah, and like, there's a way to get around that. You just have to get around it, and it's just the way it is. There's always a way to get around it, and I would.
So that's why I was talking to you, because I didn't know if you had any other suggestions.
Yeah, no, we actually have a virtual physical, like, it's so
like a virtual office.
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever go into it, but it's a physical office that I can go into. Yeah, we get mail there.
Those services have those too, but they just didn't have any that was close to me.
Yeah. To me, it's worth it. I can't speak for you. Driving is a pain.
But you don't know when they're going to call you, because it's not just a video. It's like the option I had was you put your number there and someone would call you.
Put your number where?
Like there's, let me pull it up real quick to see what the verbiage is. But yeah, that's what I was like, ooh, that's kind of crazy. Oh,
yeah, I think that's, I find it hard to believe that you have to be physically present at the office. When I just heard on the news today that landlines are going away, like what? Like everybody's got a mobile device. So I can't speak to this new video verification and all that it takes, but when I get ready to do that class, I will have more information. So what I can tell you that I know about Google is whatever they're saying, they're going to be a stickler. This is what I was saying earlier today, right? Getting away with what it used to be to run a business, all that stuff's going away, because it's just like you can't do all the great stuff we used to be able to do 5, 6, 2 months ago. Yeah, this video verification is new, so I don't even know anything about what the requirements are. So we have like I said, we have a virtual physical office. Even if you don't find someone national, there's got to be, again, I don't know your location, but I would definitely try and find a non PO box.
I was really thinking about before we bought our condo townhome where we stay now. We used to rent, and we used to have a club house, and it had an office, in it where you can, any residents can use it or whatever. I had even thought about just calling them to see if they would just, if we can do something where they can rent the space to utilize that space as a virtual office and use the address.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least that's not far from me.
Yeah, I'll have to reach out to my business credit lady too, and find out, because this is a business credit situation as well. Like you need a physical location for business credit too. So I'll have to find out. Like I didn't realize that the internet streets were even harder than they were.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now too.
Perfect. Any other questions, Nikita?
No, that was it for me.
Okay.
Just gotta finish setting up some other stuff that I haven't had time to do.
All right. Ladies, any other things you guys like to go over before we call it quits for the night?
Also, I don't know if this covers the training for today, but just wanna ask where we could upload the favicon for the funnel.
The what?
The favicon. The one we that you can look at when we review the funnel.
Hold on, let me show you. There is a couple of places. It's on the settings page. I'm going to show you my screen. Give me a second. You see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so in any of the funnel pages, so we're just going to go to the requests. In the settings, you see your favicon URL. What I would do is I would upload it to the media, the favicon settings, then go to media library. It's on here, media, right here, media, open, and then upload the favicon into the media library and then use that URL. So when you click on a file, you can right click on it and get link, and then that's the link, and then it's going to be here. Make sense?
Yeah. Got it.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so there's two options they give you. One says live video call, and then down below it says speak to a Google support. It says you must be at your business location and have Google Meet set up on your mobile device.
Yeah.
And then the second option, it says business video. Record a video of your business, show your location, equipment, and proof of management. Your video is only used for verification, won't be shared. Won't be shown publicly. Those are the only two options.
Yeah. Yeah. and they are not going to be, I suspect that there's not going to be any way to get around that. But, you know, as long as you find a location that is a business, then, you know, to me, it's worth it to drive to go do that verification, like to do the video. And literally you just need to have your location on your phone, that so it can register that you're at that location. And even as a part of the whole setup of your business account, like you want to take pictures there, because Google wants, that's what they want. And when it comes to these platforms wanting what they want, I try to give them what they want.
Well, I gave them everything else. That's the only thing I'm missing. Like I sent them proof of my business being, registered with the state. I sent them proof of my bank account.
Yep.
All that.
Yep.
And this is the last part.
Yep.
So I even said I had to send them my website and everything.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, I'm in the business of giving these major players whatever it is that they want. Even sometimes if I think it's ludicrous, but yeah, I would try.
I don't mind doing it. I just wanted to find a way to do it to where I don't mess it up, because you only get one shot at it.
Well, you reject it and then you submit it again. There's really not any one shot fits all. It's just if you mess up the verification, you have to go through it again. So
I just don't want, like, okay, you've done it once, and you're gonna have a storefront, so to speak. So
yeah. All right. Any other questions or concerns? If not, I will see you guys tomorrow. All right.
Well, have a great night, everybody.
Everyone have a great evening. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Have a good night.
Bye.